Hello everyone, welcome to Friday's topic lesson. We're going to be looking at some more art and craft work today. Just trying to get my screen a bit better, there we go. But we're also going to put some science into it. So I'm going to share my screen with you now and I'll talk you through what we're going to do. Okay. So we're going to be looking partly at art and partly at science. So let's have a look at this cross section of a tooth and we can find out which part is which and what they do. So if we start at the top of the diagram, this is like you've cut through a tooth. Here are your gums on either side of a tooth. Normally you'd have another tooth here and another tooth here, but on this we're just showing one tooth. So right at the very top we've got the crown, and the crown is made up of enamel, and then just underneath that we have a material called dentin, and we'll find out a bit more about that as we go along. Right in the middle, these wiggly bits, that's the pulp. And down here in this section here, you see where my arrow is going, the big chunky section, that's the cementum. And right at the bottom, we've got the roots. The roots are sort of here. Okay, so let's find out what each part is. Okay, so here's the crown right at the top of the tooth. This is the part of the tooth we can see above the gum. It's all the bits that are obvious when you open your mouth. That's the bits we can see, the crown. And then just underneath the crown is the dentin. And the dentin makes up the inner portions of the tooth and lies just below the enamel. So it's right directly below, and it makes up most of the tooth and it protects the pulp. So it protects the bit right in the center. And your tooth enamel, which is what we can see on the crown of the tooth, is the really hard outer layer of the tooth, and that serves to protect against tooth decay. Okay, so it stops the tooth decay getting in. It stops the build-up of food and the plaque getting through to the tooth straight away. But if you don't clean your teeth, the enamel will wear down as well eventually. So the tooth pulp, this wiggly bit right in the center, that's soft, and it consists of living blood vessels and connective tissues and large nerves. So that's if you get a hole in your tooth and it feels, it hurts, that's because the hole's gone right into the pulp and you can feel it touching the nerves and it hurts. And the most important job of the tooth pulp is to produce dentin, which is the sort of calcified, it's like a solid tissue that forms the second layer of the tooth and supports the enamel. So the dentin is this bit here. So the pulp helps to make the dentin. And then the cementum. The cementum is down at the bottom. It's all around here. And that's a soft tissue which forms along the tooth's root down at the bottom and helps to connect the tooth to the jawbone. So it helps to keep the tooth right in place where it belongs. And then your roots. The roots are normally buried right into the jawbone. They go right in down here. And they're covered with a thin layer of bone. And they are the parts that go into the sockets and hold your tooth into the jawbone. Remember, if you get a tooth that falls out, you get a little hole. And that's the hole that the roots go through and down into your jawbone to hold your tooth in place. That, along with the cementum, stops your teeth from wobbling and falling out. Okay, so your job today, we've just whizzed through that, but you can go back through it at your leisure. I want you to draw this diagram and to label each of the different parts correctly. Now you need to really take care with your drawing and try and get the proportions as close to my diagram as possible. So look how long the roots are, look how high above the gum the top of the tooth comes. Okay, so making it look as close to that as possible. And if you want to add some colour, that's absolutely fine. You could add the red to the gums here. The pulp in the middle is all blood vessels, so that would be red. Your enamel might be slightly yellow, and you could put some different yellow or grey colours underneath in this section just to show the different bits really clearly. And I want you to label it really clearly as well, so that you can see exactly which part you're pointing to. You could also make it by using different things that you find around the house, maybe some tissue paper to make the dentin or the cementum, maybe some red wool to make the pulp down in here, because that's all blood vessels. So you could use lots of different things to create it. But what I really do want to see is clear labelling, a good attempt at drawing the diagram as neatly as possible, and clear labelling so we can see exactly how the tooth is made up. And then when you've done that, there's some questions on a quiz that's attached to your assignment that I'd like you to do. And I'm sure you can all manage that. Let me stop sharing my screen. Okay, so hopefully now you've got a good idea of what all the different parts of the tooth are. Go back through the video, watch it a few times, have a look at the slides because all the information is on there as well. Then have a go at drawing the diagram and adding all the labelling to it. Now don't forget, I'd really like a photo of the work that you produce. Send it to me on Class Dojo, or you can attach it to the assignment in your Google Classroom. Don't forget to do the quiz. And I really look forward to seeing your amazing work. I was so impressed with the work you produced last week, creating the mouthful of teeth. Let's see if you can make it even better this week and surprise me even more. Have a lovely afternoon. Take care.